Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WESG EU and CIS playoffs. My name is Hawker, here to bring you the action, and we're starting the day with NOREG up against Space Soldiers. The Norwegians finished third in their Group A, managing to come out on top against the likes of Endpoint, whereas Space Soldiers, of course, finished second in Group B. And I think heading into this game, the maps are very, very interesting. Of course, first, we have got Space Soldiers' pick of cash, which I can't look beyond Space Soldiers in this map. They've been really, really good on cash recently. The Turkish team are on an 11-game win streak on this map. And even though a lot of that, of course, was with Paz playing instead of Despe, even with Despe in the lineup yesterday, they beat big on this very map. I just can't look beyond them in this one. Even though NOREG haven't really been banning cash in the past, I just don't think they're going to have the skill to compete on cash. But the second map of the series is Nuke, and that's where things could get interesting, because Space Soldiers haven't played Nuke since July, where they had a big loss against Mousesports. So I think Nuke is very much up in the air as to whether or not they can get a good performance going. Looks like Space Soldiers will even get to win the knife round. So they should choose their side momentarily, and we will get to head underway into this best of three. Of course, quickly giving a bit of history on both of these teams. So far in the group stages, Space Soldiers have been very, very reliant on Xantares and Calix to step up for the team. And I think that is understandable. Considering Paz isn't here, those two are going to have to be the star players. And I think Xantares is certainly capable of that, especially against this opposition. Calix is a bit more up and down. However, I think against a team like NOREG, they should still be favoured for the most part to take, you know, a good showing on both of them. And meanwhile, on the NOREG side of things, the surprising thing for me has been that Radifaction and Marcelius have both been performing very, very well for the team. And I'm not sure if they can continue that kind of level. Either way, here we go. NOREG up against Space Soldiers. We're going to head underway into cash, and Zevez is going to buy up the nades for the team. Rubino's just going to jump spot towards B. We are going to see a boost for Croman on top of red, just to counter any aggression. In the meantime, Xantares peeking into a main. Gets some information and just decides to fall back. So a fairly slow start to the round, as the Norwegian team just gains control of A main and sits back patiently, trying to spot out any aggression. Marcelius patiently waiting in A main. They do have the nades of Zevez also over towards A. A quick look at the minimap shows you Despe and Xantares playing fairly passively towards the A site. This is something you do see fairly often from teams on the pistol round. And with the defuse kit, they could certainly have a chance to retake. Looks like Engine towards mid may have taken some damage early on. Still, NOREG just patiently waiting in towards A main. Despe should be the first point of contact, but we're expecting the smoke to come up momentarily, and here we go. The push will come out towards the A site. Xantares rotating over. Push going to come out to Forklift. Xantares spots a gap in the smoke. That could be a big mistake, but the bomb will cross to the site safely. In the meantime, Rubino gets a frag. That was in towards Highway. Frag's coming across the boards, and Despe has to try and do something to stop the push to the site. Does get that one headshot, but still a lot more to be done. And you can see in the meantime, Major's trying to fight towards mid, but he goes down. And the A-site defense just collapses from Space Soldiers. Ooh, nice shot from Despe, but still just so many more to find. And with the time ticking down, no kit in sight. This is going to be Despe falling. And NOREG taking the pistol round slowly, but Croman with a triple kill secures the initial pistol for the Norwegian team. I also want to point out, I think it could be sort of relevant that a lot of times early on in the day, the favored teams will get off to slow starts. And Space Soldiers on cash, you would still expect them to be able to close this out. Oh, Xantares gets the opening in towards A main, and the flash will force Rarefaction to fall back. He's only got the Galil as he continues to try and fight. But now Rarefaction should isolate Engine. This should be an easy frag, but Engine comes out on top. And all of a sudden, a couple of rifles are lost. And this round becomes scary. Zeves trying to hold off. Oh, spots Engine, but he is allowed to fall back to the site. So the pistols do some damage early on, but they don't get to recover those rifles they did drop. You can see over towards Squeaky, Rubino is also here. Patiently waiting. Zeves is taking the first point of contact. Out comes the smoke, and Rubino did get that opening kill. He's going to continue to try an entry, but Zeves himself finds a frag. Rubino goes down, but Zeves is here to try and trade, and he will be successful. But it's still all up to Croman in a 1v2. Croman spots the first, and the spray is good. Ooh, nearly gets caught off guards. But Major has to go for the push, and manages to win the fight. Major manages to get that spray down with the CZ, and Space Soldiers will win the force buy. It wasn't even a bad push towards the site from NOREG there. It was mainly just due to the fact that they lost those opening engagements in towards A main. And that's a pretty brutal round loss for NOREG. If they could have got rolling on their T side early, that would have given them a great chance to be able to go on and maybe at least try to compete on cash. But if it goes the other way now, Space Soldiers could certainly have a dominant half if NOREG aren't careful, especially with how good they've been on this map in the past. Surprisingly enough, Despe is going to buy up an AWP for this third round now. Only up against the pistols, of course. Smoke and nade out towards B, and a tiny bit of damage done to Croman. Does look like NOREG have got a lot of utility with their force buy, considering how much they have invested. And they are going to attempt to group up around the B bomb sites. And if this utility is used wisely, Calyx could just be mollied out of this position, and he doesn't have a smoke to save himself. So this still could be fairly tricky for Space Soldiers on the hold. Major will be smoked off, pushing through the smoke. Damage is done. In the meantime, it's Calyx who swings out for the first and the second frag. Engine in the meantime gets one, and Calyx will eventually be traded on. But Zeves, I think, is in a world of trouble. Ooh, Rubino trying to find the flank. But there we go. Major will shut him out. So despite NOREG's best efforts, I don't think the utility was particularly well placed there. Sure, they had the smoke in towards CT, but it didn't seem like the mollies were primed towards the sites. And those Molotovs towards B could have made a real big difference. So a little bit disappointing for NOREG there that they don't really get to use that utility too successfully. And of course now they are back down to a full eco. I believe Zeves is going to line up a pop flash, and the rest of the team will run out through mid and attempt to overwhelm Engine. Here comes the flash. Engine is slightly blinded up, but he will certainly spot out the opposition. Engine turns his back, the pop flash comes in, and there we go. The spray is looking good. Xantares bails his teammate out. And it is as simple as that. Space Soldiers going to get their third round on the board. I was expecting Engine to get the frags there towards mid, but Xantares with just the MP9 managed to keep him safe. And so heading into round number 5, NOREG will finally be back with a buy. They don't actually have any Molotovs. They all decided to go for smokes and flashes, which is a little bit curious. I think especially on cash, those Molotovs can be very, very useful in clearing out positions. But here we go, NOREG. Gonna switch up the pace of the play. The flashes come in, and Marcelius looking for the entry, but he is full blind. Rubino trying to salvage it, and he does get the one headshot. So it looks like the site will be taken fairly easily here, but Xantares is already flanking through A main. Flash comes out, Xantares avoids it. And so now NOREG have a lot to do in the 2-on-3. Rubino peeking out to Highway, actually gets the kill there. And he recovers the AWP for his troubles. In the meantime, Croman tries to get the fight, but now they know exactly where he is. It's Rubino who continues to frag out. Rubino with the recovered AWP picks up 4 frags on the round. And NOREG with the fast A play managed to get the first gun round to go in their favour. I wasn't expecting Rubino to be able to do too much there, even though he picked up the AWP. He was very low on health, but Space Soldiers just couldn't touch him with how quick the shots were being rattled off. So now Space Soldiers are going to go for 2 AWPs on their CT side. Calyx will be the secondary AWPer. And, oh, Engine gets picked off towards mid. Marcelius on the T side had an AWP for himself. And that should allow mid presence to go fairly easily over to the NOREG side if they so desired. However, it looks like that will not come through just yet. They are more than happy to just sit back and play things safe. Marcelius is still boosted up, but he shouldn't get too much action here. However, with the bomb going back towards B, Calyx is going to have a lot of work to do on the hold. He does have the AWP, but he is fairly committed to checkers. And if a Molotov were to come in, that could make it very difficult. In comes the smoke, but Calyx gets the shot just before the smoke blooms. And Major, having rotated over, made a big difference there. And you can see on the map, Xantares could be in position. Easy frag for him. Drops down the bomb. And that might just win Space Soldiers this round. 27 seconds. Xantares does go down. But the time will now become a factor. You can see the bomb still not picked up. Finally, Radafaction will get that one. And in the meantime, Marcelius from Highway is good for a kill. But you can see already, Despe rotated over, gets a second frag, and Marcelius will also go falling. Nice shots from Despe, making the difference with the AWP, despite being the stand-in, clearly proving he is still more than capable. And without the utility left there, NOREG couldn't particularly do too much against that AWP. Looks like we do have a technical pause here from NOREG. I'm going to quickly just turn up the game sound, so give me a second. Let me know if that's better. Again, guys, if we do miss any of the kills, I am very, very sorry. I am having to observe by myself, which is a little tough, but it's gone alright so far. We got to see the triple there from Despe. And I think the issue there from NOREG was just the utility was used over towards B earlier on. And after they tried to push towards A, again, against an AWP, if you don't have the utility, it's so hard to be able to overwhelm, especially on such a long-range angle. Zevez and Rubino are lining up the crisscross smokes out towards mid. And in the meantime, the rest of NOREG are ready to try and explode out Squeaky onto the A site. Xantares is holding from Highway. He could get the first frag. Major is also boosted up into vents. He could be good to get a frag, but it's Engine who opens up. Major, though, is in position. Easy flank for him, but in the meantime, the A site was indeed lost, so the bomb will be planted. Shouldn't particularly be the round one for NOREG, but the bomb plant is at the very least something to play with. Croman from Squeaky could be the first point of contact on the T side. Smokes coming all across the board. Croman forced to go aggressive due to the molly, and he will go down. Oh dear, Marcelius just runs straight into the flames. And that leaves Radefaction in an unwinnable position. Wait, is there time? Yeah, okay. They just about got on the bomb in time. I was going to say, that was much closer than I initially expected, but Space Soldiers will be successful on the A retake. You saw there, the smokes came out towards mid, and that did kind of prompt a rotate from Xantares, which meant that when the one kill came through on towards A, it was a fairly easy bomb plant for NOREG, and they managed to slow things down on the retake. However, still wasn't enough to get the out-and-out round win, and so now the Norwegian team again don't particularly have the money to buy, so they will be forced back to pistols. Already, Dino does get that first frag. Major only gets the one kill. And now all of a sudden again, this round becomes dangerous, but Engine makes sure to get one frag back. So it's a 3v3, but Marcelius has that all-important AWP. Nade coming in, Marcelius, easy frag as Xantares wasn't expecting the AWP, but, well, Xantares does get a kill from beyond the grave. The molly finds a frag, but Marcelius still gets a second. And it's all up to Rubino to hold this one off. Oh, the smoke is in an advanced position. What can Rubino do with just the deagle spraying away? Can he line it up? Well, Engine gets off the defuse. And Rubino spotted it out there. Rubino playing for time behind the smoke. Is going to be forced to peek now. Engine still not going for the defuse, but there comes the USP. He's just about going to have time, I think. Again, an incredibly close round. But Engine whips out the pistol to secure the win. However, again, these rounds are way closer than Space Soldiers would have been hoping for. So Space Soldiers with not too much money in the bank due to investing into these two AWPs. Certainly something to watch out for here. If NOREG could just win one round, they should break the CT economy. Major over towards B, gets his head taken clean off. Xantares is going to look for the trade, but Croman opens up the A-bomb site with ease. Just like that, this round is over. Marcelius also gets that frag towards mid. And where did those kills come from? It was mainly just Croman getting those two entries towards A that meant the round was over and done with. Rubino is in towards vents, but he's not going to go too aggressive, as Calix decides to try and save, of course. Okay, Calix does take a tiny bit of damage from the wallbang. He's managing to avoid the opposition fairly well so far. You can see Croman's pushed all the way out through in towards T-spawn. And Calix will hear these steps now. Should be an easy kill for Calix here. Oh, nearly the double. But Croman just about survives on a sliver of health. He will be able to get the trade though. Again, Croman looking on point with those headshots in that particular round. And so Space Soldiers, due to investing into those double AWPs and due to those pistol rounds being so close from NOREG, they will get themselves into a position where they have to go for a force buy that is less than optimal. You can already see the one rifle for Engine alongside the pistols for the rest of the Space Soldiers lineup. So let's see where Engine is going to position himself. Flash into a main. Ooh, nearly the chance for the entry. And after seeing that rifle, you can see on the minimap, NOREG are deciding to play things a bit more safe. Giving up a lot of A presence though. You can see Major has pushed all the way into A main. So a fair amount of information, but that might not lead to the round win because NOREG instead are going to go for the fast B push. Calix is here with the CZ. Out comes the molly. Calix will call for the rotate. Can he slow things down? No, he doesn't get a single frag, and so the rotate now will be fairly slow. Xantares does get the one frag with the Desert Eagle, but he gets his head taken clean off. And with Despe also being smoked out of position, it looks like the utility from NOREG should lock Space Soldiers out of the site, at least for the time being. Second smoke into CT, and this time there is no gap. And despite Engine's best efforts at the wallbang, he will not find a frag. Major going to go out first. CZ will be taken down. Despe also falls. And Engine, does get 2 kills back. Doesn't know where the last man is, but Croman nearly goes down. Such a risk to take that fight. But Croman just about manages to come out on top. I don't think he necessarily needed to peek there with the bomb being planted for B main. And it was a little bit of a sloppy spray down. But NOREG, again, just about hold on to the round. But this has been a very, very tight affair so far. Either way, Space Soldiers will just be forced back to pretty much a full eco. Rubino with the Mac 10 goes down first. It's only the Mac 10 lost. But Xantares with the P250 will be hoping to do some more damage. They are going to line up for the A play. There are plenty of players here, and Calix gets a frag himself. Calix gets a second frag there from the site. This has gone horribly wrong for NOREG. They've only got 2 players left. And in comes the flank Major. How is he here? He pushed out through Garage all the way to Squeaky. And so now Marcelius is going to attempt to get back towards B. He does spot out the first man, but it looks like the full eco is going to work out for Space Soldiers. Oh my god, Engine gets the knife tag, but not quite the kill. Marcelius, CZ tapping away. Engine on very low health. Oh my god, this is such an awkward fight. The knife comes out. Second kill for Marcelius. What the hell is going on? Looking for another, but finally Despe finishes him off. I just have no idea what that round was. I don't know what to say. NOREG have called for the pause, understandably so, because no one knows what is going on right now. Let's take a moment here to put some sense back into this game. Because now Space Soldiers really are in a good position for themselves. They are going to have the AWP in the hands of Despe. He's mostly been playing towards A. Wouldn't mind seeing him position towards mid in this particular round. Although you can see with NOREG not having an AWP themselves, they might not go for too much mid presence. Xantares lining up the A main push. The counter flashes come through to deny the aggression, but he certainly would have heard those steps. So it looks like Space Soldiers want to have Despe holding the A site back from Truck. This is a very difficult angle to hold from. Just a single smoke can cut him off from the site. But then Xantares could also rotate back fairly quickly towards A if he so desired. As well as also actually Engine playing in towards mid. Smoke coming out towards B to allow the players to get into checkers, but Engine gets that first frag at mid. Gratifaction full blind trying to get the trade, does get that one kill, but Xantares is in position. Major only gets the one for the boost, and Xantares loses that fight. So Space Soldiers lose out on the mid exchanges, considering they had 3 players there, with Major also boosted into vents. You'd have thought they would have been able to win those duels. You can see Calix now pushing out through B, so Despe should be ready for the A play. Deep smoke in towards Truck forces Despe into the open. Despe, so quick for the first kill. I think he may have heard the steps of Zevez to be able to pre-aim. So now it is a 2v2 with Calix coming through A main. Calix is smoked off, and Despe is just going to continue to play safe. Oh, the molly from Calix should be good to allow the kill. Rubino forced out. Despe needs the shot, misses again, but Calix just about bails him out, and the defuse is coming in. Croman can't do anything, it's planted safe. Does get the spray, but Calix just sticks to the defuse for the easy round, and he even gets the final frag to follow through. NOREG there, they had full control of the site, and yet they decide to plant safe. Feels like a fairly big error from the NOREG side, especially if you're going to have Croman playing from A main. If Croman knew that it wasn't planted for A main, he could have probably played from a different position and had somewhat of a chance. However, instead, nothing for him to do from that position. So now, yet again, it's NOREG on the back foot in terms of the money. That one full eco round that Space Soldiers won has really turned the tides of this game, because it's forced NOREG down to pistols themselves so often in these recent rounds. Again, taking a quick look at the scoreboard, I was expecting it to have to be Calix and Xantares really leading the way, but the rest of the team have all stepped up for the Turkish side. So that's good to see the team effort coming in, because I wasn't sure if the whole team could step up. Xantares already gets 2 kills from White Box. Oh, a third headshot! The flash comes in and Xantares just decimates every single opponent that comes his way. Zevez does get onto the A site, but without the bomb, there is nothing for him to do. Tries to get the frag, but Major will easily win the fight. And that's always the danger. Xantares can absolutely step up at any time and win your team the round. It was only against the pistols, of course. But it's good to see him finally start to find his footing in this game. So NOREG will be back to the AKs. By the looks of things, back to a fairly fast play out towards A. You can see them all lining up for the push here. And Despe is the only man on the hold. The AWP only gets the 1 kill before the trade comes out from Marcelius. And again, the deep smokes in towards Highway certainly slowed down the rotation. Croman will be boosted up in the meantime. It's Radafaction who finds a frag. And Croman might just spot out the man. There we go. Easy kill for him. And Major was trying to go for the push all the way out to flank in towards Squeaky or A main. But with his teammates all going down in a matter of seconds, there is nothing he can do. I was fairly surprised there to see Despe solo holding the A site on the site itself with the AWP. I certainly understand them holding back from truck and then potentially playing for the retake if Despe gets a kill. However, consistently, Space Soldiers have been playing one player towards A, and that's why NOREG have had a fair amount of success when they've gone for these fast A plays. Very difficult for the AWP to hold everything off. So heading into the last round of the half. We will get to see AWPs on both sides, and oh, NOREG are going to keep up the pace this time towards the B bomb site. Calix is here, the smoke comes out to start things off. Major's going to stick in towards Heaven. Oh no, the timing! Why is he pulling out his knife? Calix gets the one back, but only the 1 kill on the hold. There is the flank coming in quickly, but Engine is traded on. Major there needed to keep his gun out. It would have been easy frags. However, instead, NOREG take the B site. So now Despe and Xantares have it all to do. And just look at the utility left on NOREG. It is, of course, the last round of the half. So Space Soldiers will have to go for the retake. Out comes the smoke. A little bit more utility to be used. And Xantares still trying to see if he can find an initial frag. First spot out, Radafaction, first kill, second frag! Flicks back around for a great kill. And there's still a smoke from Despe. He needs to smoke the molly, but he's just going to hold this off. There goes Croman getting the first kill, and in comes the spray down. Xantares realized the time was low. He tried to stick the defuse. However, Croman was in position to shut them down. And so at the half, Space Soldiers will have the lead, but they are only 9-6 up. This is still fairly winnable for NOREG. And especially considering, again, this is Space Soldiers' map pick, and we're heading into Nuke as a second map. I think Space Soldiers, to feel 100% confident, definitely are going to have to win here on Cash. Especially with how good they've looked on it in the past. Here we go, Xantares. He's brought up the Desert Eagle. And he's going to ask for the boost. Croman is in danger here. Xantares doesn't quite connect. In the meantime, Radafaction peeks into A main. But before we can even switch to him, he is dead. Marcelius is going to try and be proactive on the hold. But the smoke already comes out. The flash comes through. And Rubino is also full blind. Marcelius does get that one kill. Where are these frags coming from? Despe finally gets the one trade. Trade's going back, but Despe is the only man left. And Zevez rotates quickly to be in position to stop the push. I thought Marcelius was blinded up there, but he managed to find that frag. And that really allowed the hold for NOREG to be successful, especially with the Rubino still being in quad. They worked off of each other fairly well. And so now it will be Space Soldiers forced to go for the Force. Remember though, in the first half, this Force buy for Space Soldiers was successful. So they've certainly proven they can win Force buys in the past. Smokes go out for both sides. Rubino will be boosted up in towards A. Radafaction didn't make any noise, so that's good to know. Rubino's position should be fairly safe. You can already see Croman as well, also committing to A because he took a lot of damage from Major in towards mid. Major still just sitting back, while Xantares tries to probe towards the site. Remember, Rubino is still boosted up. This should be the important position. Here we go. Oh, he pulls the trigger too early, but there we go. The double spray down is good for 2 kills, but oh, Despe gets a couple back with the scout. Radafaction now has to try and slow down the A play. And with a gap in the smoke, he's done that, but Despe keeps on fragging. Oh my god, Despe gets a 4K. And with Marcelius being on just 4 HP, I don't know if he can win this. Where did Despe get all those frags from? You can see Despe somewhat hungry for the ace. In comes the flash. Despe will peek out with just the CZ. And Despe steps up for his team. An ace from him on the Force buy. Some of those scout shots must have been impressive. It's a shame we didn't really get to see any of them, but fair play. The scout does the work. And yet again, it's Space Soldiers winning the Force buy. And I think you can kind of see why this Space Soldiers roster can be so dangerous. It does feel like in any round, one of the players can just step up and just win outright. And generally, you wouldn't expect that to be Despe, but he clearly makes up for any earlier mistakes he had made. Radafaction holding off towards Squeaky. Engine is on the other side. In the meantime, Calyx is also in towards A main, but Radafaction will stay safe. Croman is also pushed up towards mid, but I don't think he'll be quick enough on the flank. And Radafaction in all kinds of trouble. Does get the dink. The flash comes out. Radafaction, how is he alive? Finally, he goes down. So now Marcelius and Rubino have to lock down the site. Marcelius going to switch things up, going in towards quad. They're not committing to the A push just yet, but look at Croman pushing into Garage for the first frag. They're going to try and overwhelm Croman here, but with the CZ, he could do some more damage. Ooh, misses the kill there, and Engine can, of course, just run and gun with the MAC-10. Space Soldiers now Might have heard Rubino here towards mid. They are themselves going to go for the boost, and Rubino will be taken down. So one by one, Space Soldiers stick together as a team to pick off the Norwegian players. Marcellus, though, can take a one-on-one, but Calix just bodies him. Wasn't expecting Calix to be so quick on the trigger there. However, he takes the head off, and so now Zevez has very little to do. Zevez will end up going down, and Space Soldiers will indeed hold on to the next round. It is worth pointing out there, Space Soldiers, after killing Croman, of course, NOREG had no information as to whether they were going back towards B. And so I thought Space Soldiers were even going to go back to the A site, and it would have been pretty much wide open. But instead, they just boost up, stick together, and because NOREG were rotating over, they weren't really grouped up as a team, so they couldn't particularly hold off that Space Soldiers push. So here we go, NOREG stacking towards mid. They are going to try this boost, however, already, well, Xantares, I thought might have been able to clean it up, but he goes down first, after only finding a single frag. In the meantime, Engine gonna poke around on the A site, spotting a couple of players in towards mid, and that molly, well, won't force Radefaction back. In fact, he goes up the ladder. Calix, however, will still catch him out. And in the meantime, Croman attempting to push, but Despe will hold on. A little bit scary there that Despe is by himself in garage with the AK. Like, if he does go down, the AK is just going to be lost. However, it doesn't cost Space Soldiers in this round. Good adaptation to go back towards the A site after realizing so many were towards mid. And that's exactly why I think Xantares ran out towards mid to try and get a lot of information early on. And so now this is a massively important round for NOREG. 12-7 down. Their first gun round on the CT side. And if they lose this, they might just fall too far behind. Radifaction's going to molly deep into a main, and we will see the push come through. In the meantime, we might be seeing a counter boost come into play. Here we go, Zevez is going to go up. Will the timing be right? No, he goes down, and they should know Croman is close, but Croman sprays them both. That is Calix and Xantares, both dropped out of the round. Two key players from Space Soldiers gone in a matter of seconds. Croman is still in trouble, and Major on the boost gets himself another frag. In the meantime, though, Croman continues to play aggressive. Getting some advanced information in towards Garage, but oh no, Radefaction pushed out in towards Squeaky. And that allowed Engine such an easy frag. And as I was saying, this has been much more of a team effort from Space Soldiers. Even after losing Xantares and Calix, they are looking good to take the round. Major, ooh, nearly taken out, but the dink is not enough for the frag. And so Croman, being on just 5 HP, calls it off. Marcellus will also try to save the AWP. And at this point, I think the save is probably the correct decision. They're going to need to really go for some sort of investment into the next round. Being 13-7 down, saving these two weapons, I would prefer the Norwegian team to just commit to the force. Good to see Rubino wasn't lying about the health. He's an honest man. So here we go. It looks like NOREG will indeed commit to the force buy as I wanted. The AWP will still be in the hands of Marcellus. And of course, not a terrible buy for NOREG by any stretch of the imagination. And Engine is going to stick with the MAC-10. I think I heard a smoke go off there. That may have been an error early on. Time, though, you can see a lot of presence towards A for Space Soldiers to start the round. NOREG themselves, though, are going to stack heavily towards the A bomb site. Marcellus is here with the AWP. He should take the first fight. This is the first shot, but Radefaction chimes in. Marcellus still in towards quad, but it's actually his teammates getting the job done. As I say that, Xantares does get that one frag back, but Major is nowhere near the action. So Xantares has so much to do here. He either needs to stay alive and allow Major to get into position, or just try and find a frag. Ooh, Xantares sneaking on the site. Rubino gets that frag. If he didn't find the AWP there, he may have gone down. Rubino, ooh, does get baited by the jiggle. But Major will not be able to capitalize upon the missed shot. And so NOREG, thanks to the 3 players on towards A, will be able to finally convert another round on their CT side after, of course, winning the pistol and then losing to the Force. However, remember, that was Space Soldiers with a MAC-10 on engine and also running into a 3-man stack. So that doesn't exactly feel like a reproducible play from NOREG. Marcelius will be holding out towards mid. However, it looks like Space Soldiers will not go for too much aggression there. Again, Croman trying to play aggressively in towards middle. However, you can see Despe himself is boosted with the AWP. And now Croman is kind of being left all by himself towards mid. Rubino is playing for information. Now he will go for the smoke. You can see Despe hoping that Rubino will go out. What? That nade did 90 damage. What? I've got to feel sorry for Despe. That should not be happening when he has armor. I think it landed directly on him. Either way, Croman's still playing close mid. Should be able to get this frag. There we go. The first kill comes in. Okay, he took some damage beforehand, but still a lot of damage from the nades. Calix in the meantime, entries on towards the A site. Marcelius is going to try and reposition with the AWP. There we go, the first kill comes in. Calix does eventually get the trade, but it's just not going to be enough. Engine has to try and clutch a 1v3. Flash comes in, blinds both of their teammates. Engine still going to be caught off guard. And so NOREG starting now to compete on their CT side. We should still be seeing Space Soldiers invest, though. They have the money for the buy, thanks to this win streak previously. Okay, Xantares dropping the MAC-10 to Major, interestingly enough. And we could be seeing Major just go in first quickly towards this B site with the MAC-10. Seems like that might just be the call. Marcelius is here with the AWP. He could shut out this push by himself. Nades coming out. Marcelius will be smoked off. Flash coming in. Rattles up the shot through the smoke. Ooh, that nade could do damage. No, Space Soldiers managed to avoid it. Marcelius gets the one frag. Looks to double down, but Despe finds the trade, and now Marcelius will be forced back. But look at Croman coming so quickly through vents. Only for the one frag. And now with the smokes being deployed, oh, Rubino gets spammed by Xantares. That was straight through the wall. And to be fair, I believe Rubino was shooting, so obviously Xantares could see where those shots were coming from and find the spray down. Oh, Gratifaction tries to go aggressive, but Marcelius was not there to help him out. And so he will just look to save the AWP. Space Soldiers decide to switch up the pace with the fast push towards B. And NOREG do get caught off guard. Even though Marcelius gets the one kill, the utility was well placed to allow the push to be successful. And oh, Marcelius, I don't believe, spotting Calix here, gets that shot still. Marcelius, oh, okay. Looking on point with the AWP, but it won't lead to the round win. It's just going to be a couple of exit kills. And more importantly, the rest of NOREG aren't going to have the best of buys. For what it's worth, Croman has been having a good game for NOREG, which we haven't seen too often. It's been Ratifaction that's been struggling a little bit below his usual level, but to be fair, I'd never expected him to be the star of this team anyway. The fact that he did step up in the group stages was very impressive to me. Push coming out, what? Marcelius gets a double! Oh, Marcelius finds 4 frags! Where did those kills come from? It's actually an ace for Marcelius. It's a shame we missed those frags, but he has been on point with the AWP on the CT side. I believe he rotated back from mid and just found frag after frag, spotting out the push towards the A site. It was a very frantic round there from NOREG. They were going for the boost up on top of Shroud. And Space Soldiers went for the push at a similar time, so that made things very awkward. But Marcelius was in position to get all 5 kills with the AWP. Zevez is going to play solo B to start the round. The bomb is currently leaning towards that side of the map, but with the smoke being up, not expecting the push too quickly. Of course, Space Soldiers have been forced back to pistols, so if they could take down Chroman, that would be a great way to start things off and get themselves a fairly easy rifle. Xantares is boosted up, but it seems like he's not going to go for the push too quickly. Instead, they don't check the corner. Zevez gets a free frag. Does get taken out by Calix. Oh, but here comes Chroman on the rotate. He should help Rubino out. There we go, the kill comes in. Despite Engine finding a rifle, it looks like the B push has been shut down. One more kill is all she wrote for Space Soldiers in that round. And of course they did invest pretty much all their money into that one, so we will see the Turks have to just full eco this round. And this is starting to get dangerously close for Space Soldiers here. Again, remember, Nuke as the second map is a massive question mark for both teams. That's completely up in the air as to which way it could go. So Space Soldiers absolutely will be relying on closing out cash here. Full Glocks should be found fairly easily. Rubino is playing close to the A main smoke. There was a gap on the right hand side. In the meantime, Engine is the one man somewhat trying to go aggressive. And it looks like the rest of the team will follow suit, lining up for an attempted A push. And Radifaction is currently the only player on the site itself. But Rubino now, just in time, will get back into position. As soon as that door is opened up, he should be good to frag out. Here we go, Rubino spraying away with his team. Xantares nearly gets a frag, but Radifaction will survive another day, finding a 3k. And the pause will be called by the Space Soldiers side. They are going to go for the buy, but they won't have the AWP for Despe, who has actually been fairly good with that AWP so far. He's not been as good on the T side, I think it's fair to say, that he's been decent on both. And okay, Radifaction is going for the AUG. Interesting. I did cast most of the NOREG games in Group A, and Radifaction at one point did buy this AUG and did play it close in towards Popdog, because at very, very, very close range, the AUG is a one-shot headshot. I don't know if he's got that idea here, because I don't see how that could work as well on Cash. However, we have seen Radifaction pull this out once or twice in the past. So I'm going to stick with Radifaction, see where he's going to play with that AUG. Looks like he's just going to play on the A site, so nothing fancy in mind for this one. Marcelius will be holding A main with the AUG. I'm also interested to see if Radifaction actually uses the scope or not, because there is a different spray pattern. I think it's easier to control if you scope in. It's a much smaller spray. Doesn't look like we're going to get too much to start off the round. Chroman is holding off towards mid. You can actually see Major sitting in garage. Looks like a lot of presence is about to come in towards mid. Chroman has been good so far for NOREG. Let's see if that can continue. Elsewhere, Engine is just sitting squeaky, but he's not going to go for the push. So it will be Chroman on the hold. In the meantime, a couple of players also going back in towards A main. Major up close here. Chroman biding his time. The push is also going to come out towards A shortly. Croman still not committing to the peak. This is such a tense round with so much on the line. 30 seconds and here we go. Major goes down first and Radafaction trying to find something with the Org, but it's the Orb who opens up. And there we go. Radafaction does get the frag. The rest of the team will also shut out the push entirely. And that kill towards mid from Croman made the A hold so much easier. 3 players committed to the A site. And NOREG are going to take this map incredibly close now. 14-13, with Space Soldiers not having the money for a buy. They can go for pistols. However, this is getting very, very tight. Looks like the Org was thrown away, so might have been a misbuy from Radafaction. But he did get a kill with it. Or he's not going for the reinvestment, sorry, after dying previously. Very little investment into utility here from Space Soldiers. Smoke comes out towards A. Radafaction is blinded up. Push coming out. Rubino goes down to his teammates. Molly. Oh no, this has gone horribly wrong. Radafaction doesn't even get a kill himself, and so now Marcelius has a lot to do with the AWP. Zevez trying to find a kill himself. Look at Marcelius pushing the site with the CZ, but it's all up to Croman. 1 versus 3. The opponents are low on health. Can he get the job done? Croman gets caught off guard. It's Engine to finish him off. And just as it looks like NOREG are in position to compete for cash, Space Soldiers with just the pistols push out onto the A site. They catch NOREG off guard. And a very awkward hold from the Norwegians leads to them being in trouble. And surprisingly enough, Space Soldiers themselves are going to call for the tactical timeout here. After just winning the round, you would expect NOREG to be fairly frustrated. I would have expected them to call for it, but no. Space Soldiers clearly want to know exactly what they are doing here. And to be fair, this round does decide so much. Space Soldiers, looking at their money, if they were to lose this round, their buy into round 30 would be decent. They'd have a couple of AKs, but certainly not full. So this round could decide this first map. It will be full rifles for the CT side. And the utility is certainly not too bad. Surprisingly enough, it's Rubino AWPing early on. It's taking that away from Marcelius to play towards B. Again, Space Soldiers leaning towards A. There is a gap in this smoke. However, Radafaction will not spot anyone out. Here come the nades over the top. Engine is going to be the point man. Resmoke comes into A main, but Space Soldiers have already invested a lot of their utility. But look at the stack from NOREG. They have 4 players on the A site, including Rubino's AWP. This is such a tricky push now. Engine goes down first. Rubino gets a frag. It's just horribly gone wrong. Space Soldiers get completely shut out of the A site. A 4-man stack, and Rubino's AWP in particular will find 3 kills on the round to bring us to round 30. And as I was saying previously, Space Soldiers don't have that much money. Space Soldiers there looks like they were in a really awkward position where they invested a lot of their utility out towards A. But as soon as that resmoke came in towards A main, they hesitated. And that allowed the rotate to come in and the 4-man stack towards the A site. So now they have to do it with just the 2 AKs. Smoke comes out towards B. Zevez is playing aggressively here. He could risk giving up his rifle if they were to overwhelm this position. And it's not like Rubino can particularly help him out except for a flash. Smoke out from Space Soldiers. Molly coming through. And here we go. Zevez is blinded up. Oh no, they haven't checked the corner. Zevez should get a kill. He whiffs! That is a huge mistake. Rubino does get one back, but he gets caught off guard. And Marcelius now nearly also goes down. The bomb will be planted. And Space Soldiers have themselves the chance they needed. 3v3 retake for the game. Calix gets the first. Flash comes out. Redafaction trying to open up, but he goes down. And there it is. Space Soldiers will just about close out their own map pick here on Cash. I'm sure it was way closer than they were hoping for, but they get the win nonetheless. We've got to give credit to NOREG. They played Space Soldiers close on Cash, the map that they are so well known for, even if it is with a stand-in. And remember, this is still a best of 3. We've got Nuke coming up after the break, and Space Soldiers very rarely play Nuke. So this one could really go either way. This is almost a curveball coming out from NOREG. Make sure to stick around for the